Hey everyone.
Hello.
You were about 30 seconds late.
Wow.
It was his fault. I'm just saying, guys, it was his fault. What do you have to say for yourself?
You'll be saying that. You'll be saying later on we have dinner.
Well, that is true, guys. He had a reason for being late. He was over there making dinner for us. So I guess we can allow for that. How are you feeling about the music tonight?
Yes.
What do you guys think? Is it? Well, everybody that's tuning in, where are you tuning in from? I'm very curious. Like to know where you guys are tuning in from. Let's see. And if you're on here, please say hello so we know that we are not effectively talking to ourselves. All right, let's see here now. No comments yet.
Sarah.
Woo! Boston, Massachusetts. Wait,
Wow.
Is MA really Massachusetts? I got that right.
Yes.
Right? That's Boston. All right. It's been a while since I've noticed that. Hi, Sarah. How are you? What are you looking at over there? You've got your computer up. Engage. Oh, seriously, guys. Oh, okay. We've got Terry from Louisiana. Hey, Terry. Let's see. We have Ollie. Did I say that right? Ailey came for the content, staying for the music. I love it. Should we get the music back on? The music is awesome. I love it. Okay.
He's from Dallas.
Oh, and you're from Dallas. All right. Well, welcome. We're from Dallas too, obviously. And there's Terry saying, hi, guys. Hi. If anybody else is on there, please pop in and say hi. Let us know you're watching. We are having a good Tuesday. How are you guys doing? Everybody out there having a good Tuesday? How was your Tuesday?
Busy.
Busy. Negotiating. Lots of negotiating still.
Some working on one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Guys, today I spent the day out in Celina. We just got a drone. And so I was out there with one of our agents, Blake, and he's our son also. And we were taking some drone footage, kind of checking that out. So that was really fun. Kind of a long day.
Fun.
Yeah, we beat the
You
traffic.
got to have fun today.
That is true. And she. Ailey, you're going to have to tell us if you're a guy or a girl. We're just not sure by that name. But hi.
Nice waves.
I like the waves. I like them. Okay, let's see what we have here. California, looking at Celina and McKinney in June. Awesome.
Nice.
Like I was literally just there today. We are working on a video. We found the 5 videos in Celina, or the 5 new construction communities in Celina that have homes for sale under $400,000. And so we went, it's kind of few and far between.
So,
it's a little bit hard in Celina. And so we wanted to rank them, made a video about it, took some drone footage. Lot going on there. A lot. You can tell, I mean, to the extent that you could call under 400,000 affordable, Celina is trying, you know.
Yeah. Well, they're trying.
Yeah. I mean, everybody.
They're gonna have everything. So.
Yeah, not everybody would say that that's affordable, but Celina is trying to at least get something.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a lot. I found 5 communities. Biggest one, Legacy Hills. Oh my goodness, that's like its own little, Celina within Celina.
Yeah, and
that thing's going to be massive.
And it's not even really hardly started. You only have like 4 or 5 builders who even started doing anything yet.
Yeah, that thing.
They barely started.
That one is going to be massive.
It's what, 15 builders?
I think, no, 13 on the website. Yeah. I think 5 right now. Del Webb is the biggest, has got the most out there, but it's above 55 community. So, okay, let's see what we have here. How is the Wylie Saxe area? Could it be the new Celina? Great question. It
probably won't be as big as that.
It's, people love Wylie for Wylie, but they don't love the road that it takes to get them there.
And well, I mean, Wylie itself has a pretty good size land area, but the new is not near the many new construction areas as because Wylie was already established as business and a little bit of industrial and things like that. Saxe is basically Garland extended over towards Wylie, and so yeah.
Yeah, very true. Well, and I think a lot of people, as they're driving into Wylie, it's kind of an ugly drive-in. They've got a lot of grandfathered things. Like as you're driving down the main road, you'll see like some mobile homes, some old frame homes, and you start thinking, what is this? I thought Wylie was nice.
Well, it depends on which direction you come from, but yeah.
Very good point. Very good. But when you get to actually Wylie, it's pretty nice, and it's got outstanding schools. Excellent rated schools. Okay. I was looking more so on the southern part of Celina versus North Celina because of the building going on.
Yep.
Very good point. And plus on the southern part, you're going to get the better schools, hopefully.
A little more established also.
Yeah. It is. You're right. And you're right. And the northern side's just going to explode once they get everything there.
On the northern side, though, is where the high school is, though. So, yeah.
We drove by the high school several times today. I was like, I don't know, to me, when I looked at that stadium and I think about like the stadium that Allen ISD has, I was like, come on, Celina, you can do better than that. That thing looks kind of rickety.
They still got to bring in a little.
I guess so, but
thinking about where they come from.
Do some bonds. Midlothian.
What did Allen do before they got to build their stadium?
Okay, point taken. They had to have a building explosion basically thing. Jay says Midlothian is really starting to build up nicely.
Yes,
it's true. We have a hard time getting people to consider Midlothian, and it's less heard of. That's our problem. Is you got like 3 million people on the north side, 800,000 on the south side.
Yeah, there's a really nice communities down there. They don't have a lot of business, and they need to work on their schools. So, we know some people in the school district down there, though they are working on it. So,
well, and they did a big pop this year with greatschools.org showed that they had improved their school ratings a lot. So I was really glad to see that. I was looking at it and I was like, I knew we had the new updates for the year, and I was like, oh, look at that. We've got some good improvements going on there. But I just think in general, people that are moving into the area, they research. And since you've got so much higher of a population density on the north side, everybody hears about the north side.
There's definitely more larger lots in the Midlothian and Waxahachie area. Definitely a lot more of that. So, The other area like that would has that a bit is would be Rockwall out that way. So especially southeast Rockwall. So that would.
Yeah. Now I personally love Midlothian. I love the feel of it. I like. Yeah, there's just some really nice hilly wooded areas on your southern side. It's a lot newer with your more traditional new construction, smaller yards. But I did a video once on acreage in Midlothian, and I was able to find a ton of communities that had like new construction on acreage. So I think if you haven't heard of Midlothian, you should consider it. It's got a lot to offer. I have also literally heard people say that they won't go there because of the cement plant.
Oh yeah,
I have heard that. There, so. Yeah, they don't like that idea.
It is the cement capital of Texas.
But you know what? If you're going to complain about that, you've got Melissa that has the landfill. So,
there's landfills all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Very true. All right, let's see what Sarah has to say. Hi again. I'm open-minded to location, but I want it to be about 15 to 20 minutes from Dallas-Fort Worth area. What would be the expected pricing for a multi-generational home?
15, 20 minutes from
Dallas-Fort Worth. There's so much there.
Yeah, it's like really wide.
That's too wide. I would need to know like the age of the home, the suburb.
Multi-generational is interesting. It's actually becoming a little bit more popular, but for newer homes, it's still you have to really look at a lot of different builders, and they're end up usually being a little bit larger homes that have those, and the price is a little bit higher. So, but it's. Yeah. And
I don't know, you didn't talk about the age of the home, but if you want new, 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Dallas probably isn't going to get you there. You're going to have to be open more because it's more in the exurbs.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking about the entire area, I stumbled upon an article.
She fell over and face first into an article.
Face first. Yeah, that's it was something like that. No. Caught my eye. Anytime I see anything about like Texas, the housing market, it catches my eye. So I wanted to show you guys this one because very interesting. What do you think about that title? Home prices falling fastest in these Texas, Florida areas. So, I see that and the first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, I think everybody is like, oh, wait, is Dallas one of them?
That's one of those. That looks like a clickbait title to me.
Well, I mean, it's got some good data in it.
Well, but
you're right.
Okay, I was like, you'd have to look. You'd have to know what the markets were like before both Texas and Florida before that too. So
I guess that's true. That is true. All right. Well, let's
anyway,
read a little bit about it.
Let's read and see.
All right. While home prices are still rising across the U.S., driven by an ongoing supply shortage, which, by the way, we do not have. Hate it when people say that we do because we don't. In the two states with most of the new construction approvals in recent years, Florida and Texas, buyers are finally getting the upper hand. Okay, I'm sorry, but this whole buyers are finally getting up the upper hand. That amuses me because I think buyers have had the upper hand for a while.
For most of last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we had a really
By the way, what's everybody drinking out there? We've got our little drinks we're sipping on. What are you guys drinking on? What did you bring with you to the live stream?
Yeah, we had a really slow spring last year, spring and summer. So
yeah, okay.
Didn't pop till almost
really popped in the fall. That's very true. Okay. A new report by Redfin found that 5 of the 6 metropolitan areas where home prices fell the fastest in February. So right now we're in March. No, we're in April. It's April 1st. Fastest in February in Florida and Texas. These included Austin.
April Fool's?
This is not an April Fool's, although that is kind of bizarre that we're doing this right on April Fool's.
Anyway, go ahead.
Let's see here now. Austin, Tampa, San Antonio, Houston, Jacksonville.
And not
Dallas.
Not Dallas.
Okay, so that's interesting because really we've got 4 sizable metros in, Texas, and 3 out of 4 of them have prices falling. Of course, I'm like, okay, I knew that I know the data. I know they're not falling, but I'm always like, well, what is it? What is it going to say? So I found that to be interesting. So Dallas not included in prices falling. So I thought that was interesting. All right, let me pump over here. Both the Florida and Texas housing markets boomed during the pandemic. Very true. As the rise of remote work led to an influx of new residents moving in from out of state, attracted by sunny weather and a relatively cheaper cost of living.
Yeah.
Relatively
it still
cheaper.
Is. I know our people still complain about our property taxes being high here over other places. We don't have state taxes, so but the general, if you're in any metropolitan areas elsewhere, they're usually the cost, for everything else is a lot more expensive. So, I'm hearing that because I'm working with several relocators right now. And so that's exactly what they're telling me.
Very true. All right, let's see what else it has to say. These new residents brought up demand at a time when the 2 states, like the rest of the country, were facing a historic lack of inventory. Since then, both Florida and Texas have built more new homes than anywhere else in the union. Wow. But the situation is no longer the same as during the pandemic. Wow. More than the entire union. That's notable. Okay. and I believe it. I've been saying that for a while now. As we were driving through Celina today, just Legacy Hills all by itself, one of the communities there. I think like 2,500 houses that they're going to put just there, that they've just started. And that was only one of the 5 communities that I looked at today. So, I definitely hear that.
And they even have a new community. I don't know the name of it yet. That's going to be down in the southeast area of Dallas, kind of like
that's right.
Seagullville or down that way. They're talking at 3,000 homes.
Wow. So the builders are not stopping. They're not slowing down. They've built a lot and they continue to build. Okay. According to Redfin. All right. These were the U.S. metros where the median sales price of a home was falling fastest in the country in February. Austin, 2.7% drop year over year. And year over year, that's important. It's always important to be able to see year over year because that speaks volumes. You never want to be comparing month over month or, because of seasonality. It's always got to be year over year. Tampa down 1.9%, San Antonio down 1.7%, Houston down 1.5%, Atlanta down 1%, and Jacksonville down 0.8%. So what do you think of about Austin? Because to me, tech and IT come to mind.
Austin kind of had a California bubble, and it was. A lot of tech areas. So Austin's main industry is tech, and they built it that way on purpose. They wanted to be like a California city, basically, and stuff. They've always kind of, gone that way. So they built up the downtown a lot, added a lot of new tech companies in there, built up high rises in there, and built up a lot of different, brought in a lot of tech companies, and the what 2-3 years ago. I mean, the prices went up. I mean, they did
way
have
worse,
a bubble.
way worse
Yeah.
than Dallas. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't even compare what happened in Austin to what happened in Dallas.
So,
Yeah,
so
it
now
was
they're
just so much worse. Yeah.
so when you start seeing any type of economic issues or slowdowns or anything like that, tech is always one of the first to get rid of people, you know, to slow down, to cut costs and stuff like that. So that kind of hurts them. And so plus they have still not built up the infrastructure to support all the growth all around Austin too. So the traffic down there is crazy. Anybody you talk to, traffic's still really tough. And it's a pretty area. It's really nice, but So
I'm just curious, is anybody on here from Austin? And if so, does Dale know what he's talking about? I mean, I know you do, but I'm just curious from somebody on the ground there, if anybody has experienced that as well. And one thing that comes to mind is, what would you say about Dallas? You know, if you're thinking Austin is like an IT tech, what would you say about the Dallas, employment scene?
Yeah, Dallas has a lot of tech too, but they also have a lot of insurance and healthcare and banking and oil and gas. And I know I'm missing some.
I know so many
a
more.
lot of different.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more.
A lot of headquarters too, of all kinds of things. Yeah. And I think that's a big difference.
And I think there's more space to grow out. Because you have Dallas and Fort Worth, that probably helps a little bit. And Austin is a smaller downtown area. But there's things like that. So
to me, that seems like a really pivotal reason as to why Dallas wouldn't be dropping, is because they're not dependent on one employment sector. They're very,
if you looked at, I don't know the numbers, but I think if I remembered right, the numbers of you looked at for the number of people moving into metropolitan area at points, I think Dallas was still higher, than it was in Austin. So
yeah, and
there may have been some bubbles of that in Austin at some point, but I think Dallas was still higher overall.
And it's very it's very much regional. Like your north end tends to be more your corporate, your business, your headquarters, your IT. Your south tends to carry more of like industrial warehouse type companies. You don't see as much of like a big business corporate feel. And then on your west side, you have your military base. So you kind of got it all over the place. I don't know what the east side has, man. It's just a lot smaller. It doesn't quite have.
Forward.
No, yeah, the east side, like Rockwall County.
Yeah, not as much business stuff, but yeah, it's good.
All right. Hello. We want to be 15 to 20 minutes from the Northwest Plano area for work. Budget is $600,000. What area would you recommend? Okay, open to new build and older homes. Okay, 15 to 20 minutes from Northwest Plano. Well, I can tell you our experience within Plano, if you're considering Plano, is we see a lot of foundation problems in Plano. We've helped buyers there, and I want to say, like, they were looking in the 70s price range, the most recent one, and I want to say like 7-8 out of 10 of the houses they were considering had bad foundations. So that's one thing that I would say. Otherwise, I would need a lot more information.
The northwest part of Plano is mostly going to be the far west side of Frisco. We have Little Elm. Little Elm has a wide spread of pricing and stuff. You could go as far as north as maybe even Aubrey, just north of Little Elm. And otherwise, northwest of Plano is Louisville Lake, and so it cuts off, from
northwest from
the rest
Northwest
of it.
Plano.
So it's gonna kind of hard to get there that fast. So it's really, you're looking at, Little Elm, Providence, Aubrey, all up that way. Everything that's west of Celina. So west of Prosper and Celina.
Yeah, and 15 to 20 minutes almost certainly means.
And the prices are definitely lower that way. So.
15 to 20 minutes almost definitely means you're going to be having pre-owned. It's hard to get new construction that close to Plano.
There's some in Little Elm, but yeah.
Let's see here. For more context, we are currently living with parents rent-free. Yes, so is some of our adults. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. So we are extremely flexible. Would you recommend waiting for increased inventory? Okay, if your sole concern is increased inventory, summer, a lot more people list their homes. And so you're going to see that. So, but if your motivation is more like less inventory, but more motivated sellers, then fall and winter.
We have a pretty healthy amount of inventory right now, I would say.
We do. We do have I would say there's a lot of healthy inventory. Buyers have the say. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, let's see.
I wouldn't
here.
say it's a really good buyer's market, but I just think it's not a seller's market, and it's so it's a general. It's pretty good. It could go either way depending on the area and what you're looking for. So.
I mean, that's a great example. Like for context, Dale has been negotiating a new construction homes listed for $319. He's trying to get it for $297 with 6% towards closing costs and a rate buy down. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so far, they've not accepted that. So that's pretty aggressive, right? But the builders have kind of fought back. Dale does negotiate very aggressively, go big or go home, but so far we've been going back and forth on that. So if it were just an absolute slaughter fest, I think he would have gotten that, approved. So that kind of tells you it is a buyer's market, but we're still fighting. Sometimes we get success right off the bat, but other times it takes us a while and we just have to keep persistent. He's a master negotiator. If you guys saw, I don't know if you guys saw my last video, but I talked all about negotiating on there. Okay, let's see here now. What are your thoughts about Perry Homes, American Legend, and Shattuck as far as builders? I love them. Oh my goodness. I think they're really great builders. American Legend and Shattuck, I consider those luxury home builders. And I evaluated them in my luxury video where I did best and worst. For Shattuck, I love their architecture. I absolutely love their elevations. Oh my goodness. And then just the number of elevation options you have, and they do the castle spires. And so you've got Grand Homes and Shattuck basically that do those castle type spires, but Shattuck has better reviews, way better reviews than Grand Homes. Perry Homes, you can get kind of at a luxury level, but then it's not really Perry anymore. Then it switches over to Britton.
Yeah, there's a big difference between Britton and Perry. I mean, Perry's are nice homes, but Britton's much nicer. So Perry is a more what's the word I'm looking for? General kind of plain. Plain is not really right, but they don't have a lot of extra features for Perry, but they're nice homes. They're very nice. They're very open, and but Britton they add a lot of really nice features into them.
So what Dale is saying is basically Perry is like a middle to slightly upper, but then they have a luxury element, which is Britton. So Perry will never be fully luxury home because they bring that to Britton, which is their luxury counterpart. American Legend and Shattuck are both very nice.
American Legend also will depend on the communities they're in, and Shattuck tends to be a little pickier about the communities they choose. They like to choose communities that they compete well, or it can be some of the higher end ones, and they don't have to compete on price and stuff as much. So because they know they're the higher end ones. So.
If I were going to pick between the three, I think I'd probably, I'm interested in your opinion, but I think if I had to pick between the three, I'd probably go with Shattuck because Shattuck has better Google reviews and I just like their designs better. I like them all. And if you're in a lower price point, if you're under $1 million, Perry Homes probably be a better fit for you. American Legend, I mean, they'll both probably have some 800 plus in American Legend, probably much higher with Shattuck. It depends.
Depending on the community.
But I've done best and worst reviews. So I have studied these builders in detail. Perry Homes hate their contracts, hate them, absolutely hate them. But then the house itself is okay. It's just that if you were going to sign a contract with Perry, you need to be really careful and we need to talk first. Let me put it that way, because Perry contracts do not like them at all. Okay. So let's see here now. By comparison, at the national level, the median home sale price of a home was up 3.2% in February compared to a year earlier. So that's interesting. And we're going to see here in a minute when we look at Dallas prices that we're right in between there. So we're not falling, but we're not up 3.2%, which I think itself is interesting because we do have all that new construction. Okay. The growth in inventory in many areas of Florida and Texas, turning these markets into favor of buyers. That's especially true in the case of Texas. And it goes on to kind of talk about Florida a little bit. Let's see. Okay. What happens next? All right. Housing experts said that many markets in Florida and Texas may have already turned into favor of buyers. Though these may struggle to reap the benefits of these shifts. Okay, let's see. And then what I did, I said, okay, that's the end of that article. Then I want to know what Dallas is doing. That was my first thought. I was like, okay, if I know that, and like I said, we're going to end up in between. Okay, and so let me show you that. Here we have our average sales price. And what I did was I did the whole Dallas area, and then I went down by county. Okay, we're going to see the entire MLS is up by 2.4% year over year. Okay, so if you take, and that's average, so if you take the average price year over year, we're up by 2.4. So not as much as the nation as a whole, but also not dropping like the other metro areas.
More like what our yearly increases were, annual increases were before COVID and all that. So,
and honestly, that's so much healthier. I think that given the demand for Dallas, we kind of need those higher rates to keep, buyers having an advantage. Okay, median sales price. Okay, so this is like dead in the middle. Hope you guys know what the difference is there between average and median. Let's open that back up again. Okay, median is up 0.5%. Okay, so difference in medium and average. Denton County. Okay, so now let's take it county by county. Our average sales price is down 0.5%. Okay, so year over year, average price down 0.5% and right at zero. So Denton County for the median, Denton County is kind of holding its own. Okay, Collin County, average sales price is up 1.3%. Okay. Median sales price down 0.7%. Tarrant County is up 0.2%. Okay. And the median sales price is up 0.8%. Okay. So you can kind of see we're just kind of bouncing around nominally. Dallas County average sales price is up 6.9% year over year. Okay. And then the median is
It's interesting
0.3%.
about Dallas because that's probably on a bunch of lower end homes. What was the actual price there? You say the average. It was.
Bring that back up here. It was 370,000.
Yeah, I could see because see a lot of renovation and they're taking some communities and stuff that are older community stuff and doing a lot of renovation and building up, and in some cases actually even just doing new construction, small or very custom builders, doing new construction homes and stuff like that. I wonder if that's kind of pushing that price up like that. So, plus that's more on the lower end. The prices are going up. So yeah.
And if you think about it too, like you're talking landlocked, which makes sense from a supply standpoint, they're not being bolstered and reinforced by thousands of new construction homes.
A lot of areas right around downtown Dallas and stuff.
Whereas Denton County is. Denton County's got all of that new construction. Collin County does too.
Yep.
So there's something to be said there as well. Okay, let me bring that back up. Let's keep looking. All right, that's Dallas County. Rockwall County, average sales price. Okay, Rockwall. Woo!
They grew.
Average sales price is up 9.4%. Average sales price up 9.4% in Rockwall County. I like Rockwall County. I really do. I think a lot about Rockwall County. If you were to press me for my favorite area, I think I might go with like McClendon Chisholm. I like McClendon Chisholm a lot.
A lot more of the bigger lots and bigger homes that way too. So
yeah, really neat. Heath is very nice for a pre-owned home and like a custom standpoint, just really unique. And of course you've got the lake and stuff. So, all right, let me see here now. So Rockwall is doing amazing. Let's see, but median sales price up 0.6%. So some pretty big differences between average and median. Kaufman County. Kaufman County is booming. It is up average sales price 3.8%. And let's see here now. Okay, median sales price up 2.9%. So they're a lot closer. And Kaufman County is another one that's just exploding in. A lot of growth. I would say big difference in Kaufman County is you're going to see much more affordable element. You're not going to see, whereas Collin County is going to be your northern is going to be so much more expensive. And Kaufman, boy, places like Forney and Heartland, I mean, they are just putting out those $300,000 homes, 300, 350, 400. And it's just more balanced in Collin County. It's a little bit harder, like in places like Celina to get 350, possible. But at least you've got more balance there. Okay, let's see here now. That's Kaufman County. All right. Next up is, let me see here now. Next up, we're talking about Ellis County. Let me see. There we go. There's Ellis County. Let me pull them up. All right, Ellis County. Ellis County had a nice boom. Also, average sales price up 7.5%. So you know what I was saying earlier, how people they tend to not think of and not consider the South Side. There's a lot of nice things going for that South Side,
Yeah.
and yeah, Midlothians, their schools did come up some, but you've also got Waxahachie, you've got Red Oak. Love Ovilla. Ovilla is landlocked, beautiful area with a lot of huge yards. Midlothian on the north end, you get a lot of rolling hills and just huge green and mature foliage.
Newer areas is down that area in between the south part of Midlothian, getting closer to Maypearl, and then going a little bit over into Waxahachie in that area. So yeah.
So in those areas, especially now, if you're thinking about like if you've got to commute, for example, to downtown Fort Worth and downtown Dallas, you're not going to get much better than Midlothian. I mean, it is like the most centrally located. So if at all you're ever pushed and you've got maybe husband goes in one direction, wife goes in the other, Midlothian, you can't beat it. It is so centrally located. It's fantastic. So I like Midlothian. I like Mansfield. Waxahachie is also very, very nice. Red Oak. You do struggle with a little bit not as good of schools when you go on the south side. Part of the reason Collin County is so expensive, is such higher, is because they've got the reputation for the better rated schools. All right, let's see here now. Okay. Ellis County median sales price up 6.3%. So they stayed consistent, up 7.5% for average and up 6.3% in median. So Ellis County is looking good. People need to give it a more of a thought, give it more consideration, I think. Now I found one other article because I was like, just kind of exploring and researching, like, why is it that, just wanting to explore a little bit more why Dallas home prices weren't dropping. And I think a lot of it to me is the constant people moving in. And I think the more balanced job market. To me, that I think those are key issues. I think the balanced job market is really important. But I did find this article, did not expect it. So I want to share it with you guys. DFW tops list for new rental home construction. Now, if you're not familiar with that, what that is, it's basically when you have new construction, but they're building it directly for rent. So it's like having an apartment complex, only it's single family homes. Okay. And so I found that interesting. Texas leads the build to rent boom. Of the 110,000 plus houses for rent under construction. Oh, wow. That is incredible. Nearly 22,000 are in the Lone Star State. Okay. So that's Texas as a whole. Texas is seeing a surge in new homes for rent. And according to a new study, these build to rent communities are becoming even more popular as home prices and interest rates remain high. Okay, that statement did not make sense to me because I was like, rent is just as expensive. It's not as though rent is cheaper than buying. I was just like, that didn't make sense to me. But all right, let's see here now. A report by Point to Homes revealed that Texas is leading the nation in new builds for purchase and has the highest number of rental single-family homes under construction. The report also lists Fort Worth and its surrounding suburbs atop the metro areas where the most rental homes are being built. Okay, so what is going on? Why would Fort Worth do that? Dallas real estate agent Diana Gomez with eXp Realty says she has seen swaths of did I say that right? Is it swaths or swaths? Swaths?
I would say swaths.
I think swaths. If you guys have an opinion, comment. Seeing swaths of these new build-to-rent communities under construction all across DFW. They are especially visible in these suburbs of Dallas, McKinney, Princeton, Melissa, and up in Denton. And I will say this, when you've got a build to rent subdivision, you can tell because a lot of times they look like barracks. I mean,
they're a lot more cookie cutter for sure.
Extremely. Yeah. And so
they build them a lot faster too. They're not like a typical, 8-month build time and stuff. They're usually a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because they're not offering a lot of choices. Really, actually, they're not offering hardly any choices. It's just maybe a few plans, and it's the same thing over and over again. So they're just, They really do. We drove by some today. Blake and I were up in Celina, and we drove by them, and
it didn't even specifically say build to rent, but you could just tell by looking at them, because again, they just looked like apartment complexes that were made into houses. Basically, they all look the same, which is really ugly communities. I think, like, I would not want one nearby.
But some of them have amenities and stuff in them. So
that is true. That is true.
Pickleball and stuff like that. So,
The study showed because of that level of affordability, DFW's rental home construction rate, okay, is the 5th highest in the nation. Developers are expected to build more than 8,400 new single-family homes for rent this year across the Metroplex. Wow. So Dallas being very friendly, which I kind of think that's really going to hurt the rental market, because we've also got mass construction with apartment complexes as well. So I think they're probably going to really, to the extent that single-family home it's
going to end up putting the small time renter out out of business. So.
Yeah, it's very true. All right, let me see here now. Fort Worth is getting the biggest chunk of the development. Wow, at just over 1,800 homes. McKinney is right behind Cowtown, where developers are expected to build the second highest share of new home rentals with nearly 1,300. Wow. McKinney, and that's nowhere nearly as big as Fort Worth.
Yeah.
That's a lot of build to rents. My goodness, McKinney, what are you guys thinking there? All right. People are looking for that experience of living in a house, and these communities are offering that, and it's growing. Fort Worth is like 8% of all these new developments that will be built in Texas. 8% of them are going to be built in Fort Worth, said Gomez. That's a big number. And I would agree. So I think that's really going to impact, that's got to impact what Fort Worth is like if they're, lower the owner occupancy rate by that much. All right. So that were the articles. Those were the articles that I found today. Love to hear your comments. What are your thoughts? If you have any questions, please post them. I found it very interesting. The build to rents, I think, are just so unattractive. And I think they're just overbuilt. Too many apartment complexes, too many. You see those going up everywhere. So just a lot, I would say. But good to know, though, that Dallas is kind of holding its own year over year. So
I think like I said, I think it's just, we're back more like what it was before. We weren't like a real heavy either side seller or buyer market, kind of just had a nice gradual growth. So, and I really do like the slower level of growth. Really don't like what happened during the 2020, 2021 range. Just that was so unhealthy. You're always asking for big corrections when you have those. So,
You really are. Yeah. Although, we haven't seen it. What we saw in Dallas.
Well, we didn't, because we haven't had those here. So that's why I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't see the big, we saw prices go up in an unhealthy way. I definitely think it was not healthy. But we haven't seen a correction per se, but we've seen it kind of just be real stable. Well, you're exactly right. What you're saying is completely spot on. It's gone back to what it should have been. All right. How do you think about Highland Homes and Painted Tree? Well, I'll tell you what, Dale has 3 buyers right now under contract with new builds in Highland Homes. So I'm going to not in Painted Tree, but I can tell you he has had a lot to say about Highland Homes. You want to take this one?
Yeah, so Highland Homes, I think they do a really good job. For one thing, the company itself, they're employee owned. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and they're when you go from one community to another, there's always a little bit of differences because you're working with people and people do things a little bit differently, but they are very consistent on how they do things, and they're very good. I love their detail of how they help a buyer figure out what they want and all the options that they actually have a lot of options for building a home, and how to customize it the way you like it and stuff. But they're not crazy pricey. I have seen there are some communities that have some cheaper, Highland Homes and stuff that, but in general, I think they're very nice homes and they do a good job. Painted Tree, I know Painted Tree, so depends on what part of Painted Tree, because Painted Tree has some of the areas that they have the real small, like 40-foot lots, and then they have some areas that have larger lots. And I know that Highland has is building in some of the smaller lots. I can't remember right now if they're building in the larger lots too. I can take a quick look. Maybe let's see. They are doing build for. Looks like they're doing Painted Trees. It has some builders that are doing build to rent also. So.
Oh wow, ugh, that's not great to hear.
So let's look, see if I can find him real quick.
He's looking it up to see if Highland is building on 40s.
I'm trying to remember because the ones I've looked at recently out there have been Drees and Coventry and Bloomfield.
Oh, that's right.
And Center Living, some bigger homes and stuff. Let's see. So, but right now, Highland. Oh, it's because. Well, why am I not getting their Painted Tree website?
But he has, I will say, while he's looking, that Dale has had a lot of good to say about Highland in their new build process, just because so happens he's got 3 right now in various phases. And so are all 3 across different communities as well?
Yeah. So there's one in Royce City in Waterscape. There's one in Pecan Square and Argyle. And actually it's technically in Justin.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then the other one's in Wildflower Ranch, which is Justin as well. So
yeah. And he's like, anytime, guys, that I can see a builder maintain a good quality level across multiple communities, that's a good thing, because that's where they tend to hurt the most. It is that micro local level is where you tend to see it break down, and it's about like middle management not doing their job. And so you might, like, for example, we just had a great experience. We've had great experiences or decent experiences with Meritage in some communities. We just had a terrible experience with one at another. And so their micromanagement is not good.
Not as consistent.
Not consistent, right? Let's see here now. All right. Do you still recommend third-party inspections for Highland Homes? Oh, absolutely.
For all
every
homes.
Time, every inspection you can possibly get, you always get it.
Okay. Here's for a new construction home, inspectors that do new construction home, there are 4 inspections they can do. The first one is pre-pour, and that's when the builder has got the form set, it's got the pad all set up. They got the electricity coming in, the plumbing coming in and such, and they're all set for where they're going to pour the concrete, pour the slab and everything. And you can do an inspection of that. But the thing is with that, though, every builder from that, they are required to have an engineer come in, a third-party engineer come in and verify that and sign off on it. And the city itself is going to sign off on that. So that one, you don't get as much of your money out of that one. Though you could do a package deal maybe, and the inspector will give you a bit. The next one he'll do is the pre-drywall inspection. And that's when they have all the framing done, the outer sheathing's all done, the roof's done, and they put in all the mechanicals, all the electrical and plumbing and all that stuff, and low voltage and the HVAC's ready, and then they're ready to actually start putting in insulation, and it's sealed. That one is actually kind of a cool. I like that.
I like that one
because it's fun to look around and see what all is there. And sometimes that's a neat one to have an inspector do, because they can give you an extra set of eyes and pictures and stuff where everything is. The one I think you get the most money out of is the final stage when the home is complete and they do the inspection then. And then the last one is a pretty good one too. I think the second one you get your most money out of is if you have an inspector come in on the 11th month of your first year warranty, and they can help you point out items that you might get turned in claims for warranty. So,
and some thought I have on that is at the pre-drywall inspection, that's where you can really see the quality of the sheathing. Dale recently, we just closed a Normandy, and Dale was like, he said, I have never seen a more tightly sealed house than a Normandy. He just said it was just, and then today, I mentioned I was touring through Celina, and I found 5 communities, houses under 400,000. And I was really paying attention because these are all really new communities with a lot of framing, a lot of going on. And there wasn't a single one of them that had structural sheathing. It was all the foam board, just foam board, everywhere we went, foam board. And I was like, oh man, because I was really hoping to be able to tell my buyers, look, we found one that's got a more, better sheathing. Unfortunately, every single one of them. And so to the extent you've got them putting up foam board, right? Think about that pre-drywall where you can tell how well it's sealed. How many gaps do they have around all of the plumbing openings and the various openings that you can identify when it's pre-drywall.
It looks like Highland Homes may be done building and painted tree. They may have finished up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
there may be a few inventory homes left or something, but yeah, that's.
Well, and here he says, any recommendation for inspector? Thank you for the insights. You are welcome.
Yes, we do have
yeah, just drop us an email. We have a whole list of preferred inspectors that are outstanding. We always tell our clients, of course, you're welcome to just pick your own is also perfectly fine. But we do have a list of ones that we've been very happy with. So drop us an email, info@myontrackrealty.com. Should be in the description section. So and we can get that to you. No problem. All right. Well, if no one else has any other questions, comments, we always love to hear from you guys. But if you don't have anything else, we are going to let you go. Dale here made us dinner. What'd you make us for dinner?
Some food.
Okay, I know he made us something because
the creamy Italian sausage and pasta.
Now, doesn't that make you guys hungry? Huh? Yeah. It makes you want to say goodbye and go eat. Okay, how much by percentage do people get per year? Oh, on their property tax. How much by percentage do people usually get back per year on their property taxes? I'm going to need a little bit more explanation on that.
Back. What do you mean back?
How much by percentage do people usually get back per year on their property taxes? I don't understand that question. Can you tell us a little bit
LT.
more?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Rebate.
Are you talking about with the homestead exemption?
Is that what you mean? Like how much do you get discounted off your taxes from your homestead
exemption? It's not
exemption?
Really a percentage. If you're talking about homestead exemption, if you're talking about homestead exemption, you get $100,000 off the tax appraised value for the school district taxes that you're paying. And for the county and city, it depends. It could run anywhere from about $5,000 to $20,000. So,
property tax rebate based on income. Okay, it doesn't work that way. There's no rebate based on income with property taxes, not to my knowledge and not to what I've heard. It is what it is based on what the county appraisal district does and based on their exemptions. Is that what you mean? Because I'm not familiar with a rebate based on income. So if you tell me more about it and we can research it.
There may be something, and I think there might be some areas where they do some special programs about that. But
so we might be able to look that up for you. Let me see that. Is there a list of areas that has PID, mud, or both in Celina and McKinney?
On the Celina.
Yes.
You go to the city websites for Celina and McKinney. They have a list of the PIDs and muds.
Yes, you can definitely find that, and it is not difficult to find. I can tell you almost every single Celina new construction community is going to have a PID or a mud. I mean, that is how Celina funds. That's their operating model. They use PIDs and muds. In fact, I've been working on this video about Celina, and all 4 of them were in PIDs and 1 was in a mud. I was like every single one of them. Now a mud is not quite as bad, you might say, as a PID, because a mud generally is going to replace the city water. That's why you have the mud as municipal utility district. So instead of having like a water bill per se from the city, or city taxes, I should say city taxes, then you have your mud. So there's a difference there.
The mud is usually for areas that are not in the city, city limits, and they need some outside utility district that's providing that. PIDs or specific for the developers and the city itself have paid for bonds, purchase bonds, and to pay for the roads and all the infrastructure and stuff to support, and support these communities, and they're having the residents in those communities pay that back.
So for example, if you're in a mud, you're probably not within city limits. And so if you have a mud tax, you probably don't have city taxes. So they're offsetting one another. So you're losing one and gaining the other. With a PID, you're just getting a whole other tax. So you're going to have city taxes as well as the PID, chances are, right? So the MUD and the city tend to trade each other off, right? And so that's why, to me, a MUD is not quite as bad as a PID, right? Although they both serve their purpose. Okay, this is a really great question. Are PIDs, MUDs part of the taxes that can be exempt for a 100% disabled vet? Boy, I wish I had an answer for you on that one. That is an excellent question, because you know that there's definitely that full exemption for the disabled vet. But I honestly, Dale is Googling it right now. Man, you caught us on something we don't know. This is just so awkward. Okay, he's looking it up.
This says, this is for property taxes. So I'd say they're not paid. That's all. The MUDs are actually included in the property taxes when you pay it to the county. PIDs are not. PIDs are paid separately.
That's a good point too. Yeah. So my thought would be that probably PIDs are not going to be exempt. That would be my thought.
So the MUD is quite possibly will, because it's really like paying city taxes.
Yeah, MUD and city basically trade each other off. Dale's going to look. Well, Dale's looking up that. Let me see. From what I know, oh, good. Thank you for putting in. From what I know, for disabled vets, if the MUD is part of the property taxes, then it can be exempt.
Yeah,
that would make sense to me. That would make sense to me, because the MUD is the swap for the city.
But I don't.
Whereas a PID is just a whole different animal.
PID is really not technically property taxes. It's you're paying off bonds for the infrastructure and stuff.
And you know what? I think I'm coming to an answer here, which is that the municipal utility district is a political entity.
Yeah.
Which makes you think it could be exempt because it's a political entity, versus the property improvement district, the PID, which is not. It's not a political entity. So I think we've kind of stumbled our way into the answer just by kind of thinking this through, one being a political entity and one not being one.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any direct answers right off.
Okay. So. Well, guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. We're about to go enjoy some dinner that the master here has made for us. So if there's nothing else, listen, you guys have a great week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.